So, can you start with mine?
Yeah, let's start with yours.
Okay. So mine, I've been noticing, so you think of any horror movie, any scary movie, specifically one that has to do with ghosts,
Mm-hmm.
there's always, like, a child involved, right? Think about it.
A lot of the times,
Like,
yeah.
are you talking like a child ghost or a child?
A child
just
who
like-
sees the ghost, or
Oh,
it's
okay.
interacts with the ghost.
Talking going back to 99 with Haley Joel.
Yeah, there you go. But then you think, like, even The Shining, that kid,
yeah.
Red Round,
Oh, yeah.
and Insidious, the kid, like, astral projects, the kid does it,
I've actually
Yeah.
never seen Insidious.
You are missing out.
It's pretty good.
It's freaking scary.
There's that ridiculous Mama movie we saw.
Yeah,
There's
kids,
the kids involved.
right, with the ghost.
What's that one?
I don't even remember. The kids were found in the cabin,
Yeah.
and they were abandoned.
Oh, the
Oh,
dad
it-
takes him there to kill him because he killed his wife or something.
It's called. Is it just called Mama?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I thought it was called The Ridiculous Mama.
Yeah, I'm pretty close to
The
that.
Ridiculous
Close
Mama.
The ridiculous mama. Anyways, and then I feel like it's a common thing for little kids to say, like, I saw Grandpa or whatever, last night, or you'll be flipping through an old photo book, right? I've heard stories about this, and then they'll say, like, hey, that's so and so comes and sees me, and it's like someone in your family who's died. So I'm thinking, like, so usually things in scary movies, they are based upon, loosely based upon things that happen in real life situations. So what is this thing with kids being able to see, or more in tune to see, if you will, ghosts or spirits and things like that? Specifically, I think younger kids, maybe. And, I don't know. But anyways, while I was looking, there's some spooky stories that parents have reported on, just kind of hearsay ones. But there was one lady who, I guess her kid was like 2 to 3, and she was pregnant with a little girl, and they were starting to explain to him, like, we're going to have a girl, you're going to have a sister. And so the one night, she's, like, home alone with him or something, and she's telling him, or he's telling her, like, the girl that's in our house, she's been talking to me or something, and she's thinking, like, oh, he's meaning, like, the baby we're going to have. So she's like, yeah, she's going to be talking to you soon or whatever, something like that. Mm-hmm. And he says, no, not sister, the other girl in our house that lives in our house. And he says, the one with the red eyes.
Oh my god.
And so then I guess this mom was just freaking out, and she goes, like, on the internet how to handle the situation. But anyways, just like stories like that, or they, like, the old lady in the rocking chair, and then the rocking chair moves in the kid's room, and she sees him, or the kid says, like, who's that in the upstairs, when they're outside, and I see someone in the window. Stories like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, you guys have probably heard ones
There's
like
lots
that.
of stories like that. Like, I've heard similar stories where, like, little kids go up to their mom and say, like, I like playing with the little boy in my bedroom,
Mm-hmm.
and the parents thinking they're just being imaginative, so they're like, yeah, whatever, go play. And then, like, I think I probably murdering the story, but what I can remember is that the little kid was like, came to his mom and said, tell the little boy in my room that he's not sharing. And the mom's like, okay, little boy in the room, you share. And, like, toys and stuff started falling off, and, like, cupboards started like, things started going crazy, and she was like, oh snap.
Yeah.
And realized they had an issue.
It was I can't remember exactly what he said, my nephew, they were living at, like, my in-laws' house at the time, and he said something to the effect of, I don't remember, he said there was a person in his room, but he kept doing this, and he was doing this for, I don't know, like a month, kept saying someone was in there with him. So finally his mom was like, okay, go show me, because he said he's in there right now. So he grabs her hand, takes her in his room, and it's dark. It was in the basement. And he points up to the corner of the ceiling and says, there. And it's, like, dark in there, and she's
my god.
okay, that's creepy. We're not talking about this anymore. He's like, he's up there. So that was, that's like a real life one that I was familiar with.
That was aw- that was awesome.
Right?
Wow.
I don't know if you guys have kids.
Yeah.
Have they done anything that you can think of? That,
No. Daphne's never done
I
anything.
tried to ignore him. Not that I can think of.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything.
So then I guess that kind of brings up the question, is if all these, kids have these kind of experiences, is like, why are they more likely? And I did a little research. I mean, they try to explain it with, like, kids are unable to tell a difference between what's real and what's not, so to speak, at that younger of an age. So if they see a shirt in the closet, they could mistake it for a person or something,
Mm-hmm. I remember laying in bed when I was a little kid and the closet door was open and the way the shirts were hung, there was this, there was a little section of dark shirts, another little section of dark shirts, and right in the middle was a white shirt. I swear it looked like Count Dracula's chest.
Yeah.
So he was standing right there. He had the dark on one side and then the white shirt, and I was just laying there. I was just certain that was Dracula staring at me, and I'm just like, oh.
Don't move. Yeah, and I think I can recall stuff like that as a kid, like looking in the closet, or like if there was a light coming in the window and it make like a weird shadow, it looks like something else. So I can see that explaining some things. And just where kids are like at a level developmentally where they can't differentiate yet.
But also,
Yeah.
what if we can see that, like see the other side when we're born?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it progressively gets taken away as our minds mature.
Right.
Because, like you said, we can differentiate between what's real and what's not.
Mm-hmm.
And or also, maybe we can see what's on the other side, but as we've gotten older, from when we were in that young stage,
Mm-hmm.
and coming to the old stage we're at now, between there, we start blocking that kind of stuff out of our minds.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
so maybe now we actually do see stuff, but we subconsciously block it out.
Block it out because it doesn't fit into this
Mm-hmm.
schema, I think is what it's called, framework that we've built.
So maybe we don't even know that we see stuff. We do.
Yeah. That could be. That's a good argument too.
And some people are more sensitive to stuff on the other side, like Josh right here.
Yep.
Josh is the most sensitive out of us three.
He's a medium.
Uh-huh. Josh is our sacrificial lamb. You go into that room by yourself, Josh.
See what happens. No way, man.
No way, man. No way. Sometimes, this is a little off topic,
Uh-huh.
but
Right.
like, I don't know if it's just I'm crazy, but I'll go and check on Daphne in the middle of the night, and I just feel like I'm being watched. Like, I feel like there's something in her room watching her, watching me, and I'm like, this is creepy.
Sure, yeah.
So I'm like, I'm sure she's fine.
You really need to watch Insidious.
Yeah, you
Remember the
do.
baby monitor part? Oh,
That's
my
creepy.
gosh. Okay.
And those are all like, you hear, based on like things you hear that people experiences people have had. There was one I was reading that they heard like two men talking through their baby monitor. And so they're like freaking out and they run upstairs or wherever the kid was to look for who was in the house, and there's no one. But they heard people talking through the monitor.
Did you ever see Boss Baby?
Boss Baby?
Yeah, maybe
Oh,
it was
the one where
maybe
he
it was
has what is it, Alec Baldwin's voice?
Yeah.
What's that? I think it's Alec Baldwin talking on the baby monitor.
Why is our son dressed in a suit and a tie?
No, I've never seen that one. Sometimes there's like enough commercials of things though that it's like you basically see
Mm-hmm.
it.
A lot of nudity in that movie. It's animated baby nudity.
So anyway, back with the. Well, we're still talking about kids, but I found like
different direction.
a legit article, like a research article, you know, about, very hard to find, but I went on my like school website library because I have access to like article databases through there, and I found it. It was about a kid. He was a Chinese immigrant kid. He was 8 years old, and since they moved over to America, he has been seeing ghosts in his room before bed almost every night, and he says he depicts them as like teenage ghosts, and they'll like harass him or make threats to him and his family. Didn't say what kind of threats, but anyway, so then it was like 2 years, and his parents finally decide, well, maybe we should get him checked out or see somebody about this. 2 years of every night seeing teenage ghosts telling you off. That's gotta be horrifying for this kid. But
We'll give him some help.
we ought to give him some help. I think it was a cultural thing. It's like be a promising upcoming like a shaman, have the ability to do that, or be a healer or something in like the Chinese culture. So I think that played a part, but it's just kind of funny to think about. But this kid, he didn't have like any disabilities or mental illness or anything like that. He was a normal kid when when they did get him checked out, and he wasn't hallucinating anything. So none of that. It was just like couldn't really explain it. But come to find, while they were doing therapy with him, and this went over the course of like, I can't remember if it was 8 months or 8 weeks, probably months. They saw him periodically throughout that time. And what they treated him for was, they came to find that he had a lot of stress from moving and being in a new like social situation and having to interact with like other kids and stuff his own age, and feeling like he didn't belong. And also they were living like with his uncle because his parents only had like high school level education, and they were hard up on jobs and weren't making a lot of money, and he was perceiving that too as affecting his life. And so they treated him for that. So this kid, I guess he was pretty stressed out for an 8-year-old. He was worrying about a lot of adult things. And kind of taking his parents' problems on himself.
What did I worry about when I was 8?
Is that what they diagnosed him with, or is that like what was really going on? Or they're like, well, we think it's because your parents didn't do that.
That's the thing, yeah. So it's like, that's kind of my question with the study, because once they treated him for those things, he reported the ghost stopped coming. Huh. So that's my further question is, was he in kind of such a low point and, having those, just kind of a rough time of it, and that attracts spirits to him type of a thing, so he really was seeing the ghosts? Or was this like the ghosts were brought on in his head by extreme stress type of a thing? So I wonder what you guys thought. Well, because the scientific way, they seem to think that we alleviated his issues, helped him, learn coping skills for his stress, and then that helped with seeing the ghosts at night.
Did they put him on medication?
It didn't mention medication. No, because he didn't show any signs of anything else being wrong with him other than he was seeing the ghosts at night.
Did he call them ghosts?
Yeah, he called them ghosts.
Then again, eight is pretty mature.
8 is pretty old.
I think I would have called them ghosts.
Yeah.
8.
Honestly, if I thought a ghost was in my room at 8, I'd be ghost screaming into my parents' room.
Right?
I'd probably do that now.
20
years later.
It said he would go to bed with like a flashlight every night and carry it with him.
Oh dear.
Because he was just scared out of his mind. But I think he got used to it. He never talked to them, but he got used to seeing them in his room and hearing them harass him.
Was it a recurring nightmare?
They said no, it wasn't a nightmare. Because that's the thing too. They thought maybe it was like a sleep paralysis type thing, or when you're stuck in that kind of in between state that, hypothetically or whatever, that ghosts or spirits can show themselves to you type of a thing. But he wasn't sleeping. This was before. It was like when he was getting in bed and ready for bed. He's trying to go to sleep but was still awake.
Oh my gosh.
That's...
Yeah.
but once they treated them, they were gone, right?
He reported not seeing them anymore. Yeah.
That is weird. Because I can definitely say, like, when you have stuff you're worrying about, and, like, your energy is on a, I guess, depressed slope, or just, you don't have a lot of good energy going on, it's definitely felt by, like, everyone around you, and so, but that's saying it's pretty big for an 8-year-old to be worried about that, but
yeah.
I don't know, I've never been in that, I guess I wasn't, maybe they were worried about money too much, and he knew his parents were worried, so
Yeah.
he worried, made his energy go down, made themselves manifest. He gets the help. He talks to a therapist that's what's causing it.
Mm-hmm.
His energy goes up, they're gone.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right, I could tend to think of it kind of that way too. You know, I don't know. It seems like a pretty, I don't know. As you can see it both ways. It's such a kind of an extreme thing for 2 years straight that this was happening to him. That it would be. I seem to want to think that something attached to him or to his room because of that energy that was there, rather than he's just stressed out, so it's making him see things.
What were the ghosts saying to him?
Didn't say. He said they're making threats to him and his family.
What kind of threats?
I don't know.
This kid.
When I thought of these, I thought of that too, and I imagine it was something to do with the situation they were in, and being new to the country type of a thing, and not being financially stable. I think that it was probably related to where his stress was coming from. So that's maybe an argument for it was just the stress.
So you think it could have been ghosts from, like, 100 years ago? 150 years ago, when it was just a really racist time, and some Chinese immigrants come, and there's these ghosts, these teenage ghosts that are teenagers,
Yeah.
that are racist, saying, oh, you don't have enough money, Americans have money,
Yeah.
you're not an American,
Could have been.
you're gonna fail,
Could have been.
stuff like that.
And
I'm sure they were living in an old, they weren't living in a new house. There's probably places where people lived before.
oh man, I lost my train of thought. What happened?
No, sorry.
Dang it, Josh.
I know. Now I remember. So, 2 years just seems incredibly persistent, even with
Yeah.
the most haunted stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you could look at anything and, I don't know, it just seems super persistent for 2 years.
Right.
For it to not be attached, though. I don't know. It's a doozy.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I'd like to look deeper into this story.
Yeah, it's a good. It's one that actually got help for and made a research out of it. And of course, the article is biased toward
The science side of it.
clinical work. But even so, it kind of touches a little bit on paranormal, which I thought was interesting, because I guess in the Chinese culture a heavy percent of them, it was saying, according to this article, believe in ghosts and spirits and being able to have them visit you, and particularly at night type of a thing. So I think that kind of plays a part too, that it was seen more normal, I guess, culturally speaking, to see spirits. Yeah, it's interesting. I thought it was a good one for discussion, and kind of why kids are more sensitive.
I guess there could be just kind of going back with the beginning of why kids are more sensitive. They're just so pure when they play. When they're playing, they see a friend and they want to play. They don't care if they're a ghost or not. No one's told them what a ghost is or what isn't a ghost. So
right.
To them it's someone,
That's why kids are afraid of the dark. Well, when they start to learn what ghosts and monsters and stuff are. So the older kids.
Yeah.
About 3 or 4. You know what I mean? They learn on TV or stories or whatever about ghosts and monsters. Stuff you learn about watching Goosebumps.
Right.
That's why they're afraid of the dark, is because they learn about these ghosts and monsters, and we'll just say monsters, not ghosts, because we know ghosts are real. But it's like they're afraid of these monsters because they don't know the difference between what's real and what's not.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably why. That's probably why they're more sensitive to actually seeing ghosts and paranormal stuff.